Hello, welcome to Coffee and Chatter. Okay, so a couple things going on here. My computer's in the shop, so I'm using my iPad, and the camera is there, but I keep wanting to look here, so I'm trying to work it out. So I'm looking into the camera as well as reading from notes because I can't get the script up on the screen. I don't have that ability with the iPad like I do with the computer. Anyway, I want to talk today about some recent events: white superiority, racism, uh, what's going on in the country, and what's going to be the final outcome. So let's discuss the fact that our United States Attorney General, Merrick Garland, has told America that the nation's greatest threat comes from Americans who advocate, quote, the superiority of the white race, end quote. Let me just say this. We missed a bullet when McConnell refused to consider this guy for the Supreme Court under Obama. Whew. Wacky. Okay, so who are these so-called American advocates of white superiority? Because I don't know any. And I can't think of anyone who'd actually fit that description. I'm going to make a disclaimer here. I am Caucasian. I'm a second-generation American descended from Western European, specifically Sicilian, grandparents who all came over to America and gave birth to my father and mother in the United States. So I was never taught, nor do I currently advocate that the white race is superior to any other ethnic group. In fact, I grew up in a school for fatherless boys in the middle of a predominantly black neighborhood in North Philadelphia, where white boys were harassed by black boys whenever we went outside of the school. But I don't ever remember attributing it or hearing about racism. We weren't taught that. Nobody ever suggested that. I do a lot of reading. It's part of my lifelong effort to be as self-aware of what's going on around me as I possibly can. My criteria for who and what I read is not based on race or ethnicity. It's based on what makes the most sense and is logical regarding, the topic under discussion. My quest is for knowledge, not to build a bias against those that are different from me. I have a Kindle Fire reader. That's where I do most of my reading. I have books that I read. I have a lot of books, but I've basically transitioned over to a Kindle. It's easier. And I download a lot of samples. I see something that looks interesting, I can get a free sample. I'll read the sample and then make a decision as to whether I want to read further on that subject. Now, it has been pointed out by somebody that might be smarter than me. I can't say for sure, that the biggest investment in books is not the cost of the book in dollars, but expending the time. In my case, and what is a precious and limited commodity to me, to spend reading the material. For that reason, I never spend time looking at the dollar book rack looking for a deal on a book, like I'm going to get a book for $1 and then spend the time to read it. If it's $1, there's a reason why it can't sell for more. All right. With all that said, two of the authors of whom I have multiple books on my Kindle. And I've given the one author, I've actually given his book away to other people who I thought could use it. That's how important I thought it was. Anyway, they are Dr. Thomas Sowell and Dr. Walter Williams. And they both happen to be black. But that's not the attraction. They are both very smart, very logical, use common sense to form intelligently thought out and bulletproof arguments for the ideas about the topics they decide to comment upon. Now, I'd be remiss in passing over the fact that Dr. Walter Williams passed from us this year. That was a big loss. He was a Philly guy. Anyway, guess what? I read other authors too. White, Asian, whomever has a compelling point of view to offer with sound logic to back it up on subjects that interest me. Now, seriously, I'm bone tired of all these know-it-all hacks that just by their own arguments prove themselves to be inferior to me in intelligence, and I really don't have time for their drivel. And yes, that includes the United States Attorney General Merrick Garland. My conclusion about anything Mr. Garland and those like him, his ilk, has to say is that he has been raised way above his station. And the trajectory of his career makes it obvious that he is a poster child for the Peter Principle in action. Please shut up, Mr. Garland. All right, thanks for listening to me tonight on Coffee and Chatter.